Tahani, thank you for the follow. That's Hakeem's sister, Tahani. Thank you for the follow. That's over on Amazon. Thank you, guys. We're about to be starting this interview. I have author right up here and founder and host of the New Progressives on today. Sorry if it's a little choppy. When I replay it later, it should be better. But we got an interview about her new book, which I have the ebook, and I also have the hard copy, guys. I'm gonna have to turn it off and on like that. And I have the hard copy down there in the carousel, as well as we also have some back to school items down there for you guys, which I'll probably highlight one of those to start. So Malika, would you like to go ahead and start it about the one statement that you wanted to say? And then I'll start with some questions.
So here's because again, this is my first interview ever. So the only thing I wanted to say about the book is that, this book is a hard truth. It's a very hard truth, especially for me, my mom and her sisters. And so, again, there are a lot of things in there. There's a lot of supernatural events, a lot of things that happen. And I just want people in a world right now where there's so many lies and liars proliferating through the world. We need a lot of truth and some hard truths right now. And so I wanted to address the elephant in the room, because if you follow the New Progressives, I have a potty mouth. I smoke. But again, I know there are certain people who believe that if you cuss and stuff, then you can't be righteous. But let me tell you, God, if you smoke and cuss, versus if you're a cheater and a liar, guess which one God is judging? The cheater and the liar, okay?
Right.
So that's the elephant in the room. But yeah, this book is spiritual, not religious. I wanted to make that plain off the rip. I don't believe in religion. I don't subscribe to a religion, so.
I would say, wait, follow me probably knows I don't either. But when did you write the book? Because a lot of the people probably don't know that this has been a long time in the making.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Let everyone know when you actually wrote this book. I don't think they know that this was a long time in.
I wrote this book 11 years ago.
And what inspired you 11 years ago to write?
Yeah, I wrote this book 11 years ago.
And what inspired you 11 years ago?
This book was God inspired. He told, again, like I say in the book, these are hard truths that I otherwise wouldn't have told. Yeah, it was God. He directed me to write this book. He told me to tell the truth about it all. And when I said I was like, Lord, this is some hard truths. Some people might get mad. He said, I told you to write it. And that was the end of the story. So I wrote it. It was right after my aunt died. And my aunt, Linda, is Sister Henry. She's the subject of the book. So, yeah. And it was a hard thing to write about, a lot of it. And as I give credit in the acknowledgments to Trisha Smith, and she's one of our podcast partners, she really helped me to pull out all the truth, because I was, especially you'll get to chapters 13 and 14 and you'll learn a lot about me. I'm a pretty private person, so it feels pretty naked to say these things and put them out there, but it's all part of the same story. So.
And this is a true story based on your experience, right?
Yes, this is all true. Every word in it. Even the hard to believe, but again, there are always witnesses. There's confirmation witnesses. None of these things happened in the vacuum. So again, I know there are a lot of hard to believe things that have happened in my life, but God is supernatural and He does amazing things if you're really in tune with Him and walking with Him.
Right.
He uses me that way.
And what's one of the biggest lessons that you think somebody can learn from your book without telling them too much about it?
Right. So what God told me to tell everybody, because again, there are a lot of, I remember whenever I first started feeling, so he gives us spiritual gifts. And when I say in the book that God said to me and God spoke to me, I know people have a fictitious view of God, right? It wasn't Morgan Freeman coming down, saying stuff to me.
Right.
When God speaks, he speaks inside their feelings. When I thought a lot about this. It's like notes on a piano or strums on a harpsichord, but you feel it inside. And so it's just like learning a language. I learned Spanish. It took 10 years before I realized I was understanding it fluently. And so that's the same way. At the beginning, he would put feelings and sensations in my heart and soul or whatever, and I'd be like, what does this mean? And now, over 20-something years, it's like, God said. I know what he's saying when he says it. So, and we can all, it's not like I'm something special or unique. We all have that power and ability if we're listening. And that's one of the things, the battle that my Aunt Linda went through, that I went through, that I talk about. We're all in spiritual battle, whether we realize it or not. The flesh is just what we see, but what's happening underneath that, God said we battle not against flesh and blood alone, but against principalities, spirits, and things in high places. And you can't make it through this world without understanding that. So the battle is the thing. Pay attention to that as you watch all these things happen through my journey. Understand that it's not about the judging and being, whether you're religious about things. It's about understanding how the Spirit is moving in your life. Is moving.
Right.
Or the enemy is moving.
And do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your history writing?
Yeah, so I wrote my first book when I was 7, and that's the thing. I was a gifted kid. Languages where I'm mostly gifted and stuff. So comprehending and understanding a language, I taught myself how to read when I was 4.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's always been in me to write. I've been writing, and I started as a poet, actually. I used to write short stories for my friends just to entertain them. And so I wrote my first 3 books. Doggone Shame is actually published. I published it in 2014. It's the first of 5 books in that series. And so I wrote that when I was 8. And it's so funny because I teach it. Like whenever I wrote it, that the whole point when I rewrote it was to enhance vocabulary and language for kids and people. Because again, even though I was advanced in that area, what I learned is that if you have a big vocabulary, there was this website, foreign websites, they had all plagiarized the book. They all had bootleg copies of it in Germany and in different countries. I'm like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that because I'm not making money from it. All the people who read it were like, this is the best book. This is the #1 book. It helps you understand English in a way that, just learn it. And I'm like, that's what I wanted. So when you texted me about reading The Truth About Sister Henry, you said it's like reading a movie, like going through, watching it like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually tell everyone how I feel whenever I read it.
Exactly what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever I read it, it's very, very immersive. And I know you, so there's that little part too. So I can just imagine you as a kid and all these parts that you're talking about, like when you were talking about being across from the pool or whatever. I can see the pool. I can see the houses. I can see the little neighborhood that we grew up in. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like a movie that's already played, that I know some of it, and it's just playing out before me. It just reads so detailed. It really gives you visuals. I mean, very, very immersive read.
That's what I wanted. I want you to walk with me through this journey. That is, like I said, that made my day. That's exactly what I want for people to grasp from it.
Yep. Yeah. I can't picture like every church or anything myself, so I have to imagine those, because I never seen the inside of the churches, but I know all the houses, the pool, all the stuff so far that you've been talking about. And a few churches.
Exactly, the park. Yeah, exactly. A lot of them in that one little square area. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I grew up going to church, but I didn't like church people, and I still don't like religious people. You know what I mean? I'm always, religion. God didn't create religion, man did, and as usual, man fucked it up, right? So it's, I don't believe in religion. I'm not for that, but I am glad that my mom raised me in the church because it planted those seeds. At least I know who God. I knew where to find him and to pray. She taught us how to pray and all of that. And I remember when she first read this book, because I sent it to my mom first, and she was like, "Oh my God, was it really that horrible? Me taking you to church and stuff?" I'm like, "Mommy, we all kids hate the church."
Yeah, I have to admit with that we do.
She felt so bad. I'm like, no. I'm glad you did. Did you? You hated it? Yes. I hated church. I mean, there are kids that like church, like I say. I don't know if you've gotten to convocation when I went to South Carolina. And so that chapter, those kids, like, the church was their life. And I thought, this is weird. I couldn't wait to get out of church. And the thing is our church was right beside a park, the park. So whenever we'd be in church on Sundays, especially in the spring and summer, you could hear kids outside playing, and it's like, okay, you're in church, and it's hot. You had those little fans, and it's like, I want to go outside and put on some shorts and go play. So yeah, she was all kind of devastated, like, oh no, was it that horrible? I'm like, we all hated church, all of us kids in that church.
I think all kids did. I about died. My mom made us go too, and my dad didn't go either, just like your dad didn't go. So it was just me, my mom, my aunts, and my cousins, and I hated it just as bad as you did. I don't remember a park being around us, but I do remember, like, trying to get lost. I thought there might be hidden rooms in that big old church, so I would try to go find hidden rooms.
See, that's the thing. My mom used to be in the choir, stand looked right out at the congregation, so there was no sneaking off. Like be playing tic-tac-toe or hanging with my cousins, my friends in the pews. She'd give us that look from the choir stand, snap her fingers, and turn around. It's like, okay, all right, never mind. We're good.
Right.
Hated church.
And anybody who's tuning in right now, I do have both it's the same book, but I have the ebook availability and I have the hard copy in the carousel, guys. So check them out. They're going to be the first two items that are actually in that carousel. And Malika, tell them a little bit about your podcast too.
Nice. Oh, so the new progressive. So I'm wearing one of the shirts that I have on the website. It's called the Union Forever T-shirt. It's the Tough series,
and you're the founder and the host of it.
It's a political podcast.
Yep.
And there's actually a page devoted to the church not built by God. Yeah. And so, and Jenni's one of my co-hosts, and Trisha, and we do. We have a lot more to do, especially with this election coming up. So we're going to be doing a lot of those. But we're also going to be doing a lot of Church Not Built by Hands podcast episodes too, because people are so off when it comes. I can't remember what I heard yesterday. Oh yeah, these white Christian nationalists, that thing. I mean, you can't call yourself a Christian when you hate people. Period. End of story. And you're a liar. And so we're going to take people to task on that, and that's the whole page is devoted to. It's not a religion. It's God said my church is not built by hand.
Right.
So there is no building. There is no religion. It's one spirit. And so that's who we're talking to in that. But yeah, my podcast is mostly political. We don't pull punches. It is called No Bullshit Politics for a reason. We don't jack around. We don't pull our punches. We get straight to the point. And if you're one of those politicians that are out there acting a fool, we're going to tell you about yourself. So.
And you always keep updated articles on there. And the link to your books on there?
Trish and I started. Yes. Yes. So, and then we have recommendations for things like the things that I watch that, that'll teach you things, especially history. Because again, history is happening now. What we're living through now are things that kids in generations past us, if we still exist, we'll be looking back and like we look at the McCarthy hearings or like we look at the Civil War. And American history is fluid. It's constantly moving. So there's always something to learn. And so I have a bunch of pieces that I want to put up this week because, I had COVID last month, went 2.5 years without getting it. Went down, of course, into my hometown, a high-risk area because nobody's vaccinated and nobody's masked up.
They're the only ones I even still hear of it going on right now.
Yeah, I had that all the time. Yeah, I mean, it was like, and it's terrible because, I mean, I've been super duper careful. I'm double vaxxed and boosted and stuff, but it was like, I mean, that ain't no joke. I've never been sick for 3 weeks. I was sick for 3 weeks. I couldn't keep my eyes open, couldn't, do any work basically. So, but now I'm up and I'm ready. So, like, yeah, we got a lot to do in a short amount of time before this election, and we're gonna do it. But I've got a lot of articles that I've got in queue that I'm gonna put up there.
And I did make this a back to school special. So why don't you let everyone know how your book can actually help, like your older students, college students, high school students, etc. I think that is a big target for your book. They should be the ones reading it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a chunk of where I talk about my journey happened when I was in college, when I was a teenager and in college. And again, whenever you buy this book, you're going to find out a lot about the underside, the thing that you're not taught in churches, the things that you're not taught through religion and the actual walk. And I think this would be good for a lot of kids going to school and parents. Now let me be clear. There's some racy parts in the book. There's some language in the book, but the message of the book is very important. And I think college-age kids would actually really enjoy it. About
I think high school students would too.
This generation and younger, they don't go to church. They don't believe in God. There's a lot of people in this generation who don't know and don't understand anything. So this would be, there's power in knowing and understanding. And that's one of the things that I'm bent on doing for this world in my capacity is to share some knowledge and wisdom. We don't have a lot of wisdom in this world or understanding. And we need that. Make it through.
Yeah, logic and reasoning's really been missing these last few years.
Yeah, but I think a lot of college kids relate. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yep.
And that's the thing, like whenever I write poems and I used to go to Snaps and Taps, I'd always introduce the poems with, I wonder if you can relate. Almost everything I write is like, can you relate?
Right.
And I want to relate that to people. And so there are bits and pieces. I was talking to one of my neighbor's sons, and he was saying how there are bits and pieces in my book that he can totally relate to. And he, and he's like, I can't wait to read the whole thing because he's like, yeah, that I remember feeling that, just like you with church. There's so many different pieces where everybody can relate to this story in one way or another. So.
And you feel like you're watching it. You feel like you're a part of your journey.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I write it that way. And again, Trisha was very instrumental in making me write from my voice and to capture everything that I was thinking and feeling. So, yeah, and that's the thing. I was thinking last night about this interview, and, chapter 12 is the hardest for me. That's the hardest chapter for me to read. I lived it, I wrote it, and I've read it dozens of times because of, editing and formatting it. Going through different drafts of the book. And every time as I was thinking about it last night, it gets me in the throat balls every single time. I can't think about it without crying or tearing up. It's a painful part. That's one of the hard truths of the book. But I think people will see, especially right now, you know, when everybody's talking about mental health. I'm a proponent because that happened 20 years ago for me. You know, I have an eating disorder. I'm anorexic, so let's just put that out there. And so I did get help 20 plus years ago, and I'm grateful for that. And, you know, right now there's so many people struggling with depression, especially younger people, and anxiety, things like that. This book has a lot about that because Linda suffered from a lot of those things. I suffered from a lot of those things. So, you know, again, this book is full. It's round. It's not religious. It's not one thing. It's everything. I think a lot of people will learn from it.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, we're all carrying our trauma, and this can kind of help them deal with it, process it.
That's right. I was talking to my mom, and that was the thing, you know, it was a hard thing. Like, again, I wrote that book over a decade ago, and I wanted her to read it, but she wouldn't. She's like, she couldn't get past, you know, because my mom and her sister, my Aunt Linda, Sister Henry, they were best friends, just like me and my sister are. And it was such a painful thing for her, that loss, that she stayed stuck there for the longest. And it wasn't until she read this book a year ago that she started actually face it and come to terms with it. And that's what I learned. You know, the thing is when the hardest truths are the things that we try not to think about, the things we bury and try to forget, but we don't forget them. Like you said, we're carrying them along with us. But you don't have to. You see what I'm saying? When you face it, that's the only way you can heal from it. That's the only way you can get rid of it. Cope with it.
The only way out is through.
Experience. You know, when I first went to counseling, and I remember it was again for an eating disorder, and the first thing that when I switched her, I got with actually going to high state was a huge benefit because the woman at student health that she was a specialist in eating disorders. And nationally renowned.
They used to be good back then. Well, when we were students, the Student Health Center was really good at OSU.
Yeah.
I think it's crappy now, but it used to be really good.
It was really good.
Yeah, I used to go there all the time.
She was one of those. Yeah, and she was like, she pulled things out of me. Like I went through 3 before I got to her. And that was the thing. The first one was like, well, we can give you some antidepressant pills, but they'll make you gain weight. And I'm like, okay, you do know I'm here for an eating disorder. That was the worst thing you could have said to me. It'll make you gain weight. Well, then I guess I won't be doing that.
Right.
So I had to go the hard route. I went the hard route, and I'm glad I did. You know, it was a week for 2.5 years. Every Wednesday, I would come home bawling because I would have to deal with things and confront things. But and I hadn't cried for over a decade at that point. Like I had
become numb,
my emotions so strong and so long. It was just a floodgate, and I'm glad. You know, it was such a healing thing. And like I say in the book, I was dropping off bags of anger and all that stuff and walking away from it.
But this was probably healing for your family as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing, again, me and my mom, we you know, and I have another book that I'm writing about anorexia. It's called Try Eating. You know, and my struggles with that. And, you know, the part of the thing is, you know, my mom was repeating the pattern. And that was one of the hard things. She was like, that's part of the hardest thing in the beginning of the book, chapter 1, where I talk about a little bit about that. But like I told her, you know, we were talking about this yesterday, even when I was a kid, I recognized that my mom was repeating the pattern. She was verbally and physically abused, you know? And abusers tend to repeat those patterns, you know? And so I recognized that she had her own body image issues that she was, you know, propagating against me. And so it was like, even though I was internalizing all of that pain and all of that, those hurt feelings, it was like, at the same time, I thought, don't you see you're doing the same thing to me that was done to you? And so we're totally healed. I mean, God is so good because, you know, I confronted it. She confronted it, and we dealt with all that. And it was as hard as it was for her to hear it and read it. She has come out better for it, just like I've come out better for it. And so that's why I hope people when you read this book, you'll see the different battles and traumas in your life, and understand that, that fear keeping you from dealing with it is the thing that's going to keep you holding on to it. You can live freer than that. You can live free of those things if you have the courage to face it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's the only way to break the patterns, because, I mean, so many of us have these family patterns of toxicity, and like you said, our parents just pass it down, and we pass it down, and someone's got to break the cycle. And one way is talking about it in your families, talking about the trauma, the past, even if it's uncomfortable. Even if it's uncomfortable.
That's right. Yeah, and even if it's painful, again, sometimes the truth hurts, and this is how good my mom is, because I know, like, several years ago, this is long after I had counseling and stuff, before I actually tried eating, and she would call me in San Diego and say, oh, I got this new weight loss program, oh, I'll send you this new pill, or, and it's like, listen, Mommy, I hate to hurt your feelings, but here's the thing. You've never been helpful to me.
Right.
Never, when it comes to this. So let's just not talk about it. And she's respected that all this time. She doesn't talk. She doesn't say, here's a new diet pill, right?
Right.
And I'm grateful. It hurt, but it was the truth. And I needed to say it. Because it's like, let's get beyond this here. Let's just, don't try to help me.
Right.
With this. I got this. So,
exactly. Yeah. How long did it take you to write the book once you started?
I love it to death.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been blessed to have known your mom for a long time, too.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, like, our journey started whenever I got help. But I didn't actually internalize that help for decades, And so when I started writing this book in 2010, like, it took literally over a year, and it went through 5 different drafts before I got to to this point where it is now. And then I edited it some more before I posted it and, shared it with the publisher. And so, yeah, we've been good for over a decade now, and it's such a blessing, and God said, because I was willing, I was so angry,
right,
back then, that I was like, you know what, you could just be out of my life, basically. And God was like, no, you're going to need her, and she's going to need you. We're going to fix this. And I'm so glad he did, and he did. So, yeah, it used to be every time she'd call, I'd be like, oh, my God. And I was like, oh, you know me. It's great.
Yeah. Well, me and my mom had our problems when I was younger, too.
Yeah, I think we all do, right?
Our moms came from a different generation. They had it rough. They were rough on us.
Yes. Yeah. And it was just like, well, that's the way it is. And it's like, hell no. No. And that's the thing. People are going to find a lot of stuff. I think they're going to get a lot from this book that's going to help them in their walk, in life, not just spiritually, but in their, walking life, to deal with these things. I've been very honest. Like I said, when I told God, I was like, this is good. Some people will get mad about me telling all this truth, telling it all. And when he said, I told you to write it, that's the thing. Nobody can say that there's a lie in this book. Not one person is going to be able to be like, you lied. Oh, no. This is all true. And again, I don't care. Like I said, 13 and 14, every time I read those chapters, I'm embarrassed.
Oh, don't be embarrassed.
When it comes to dating, I've always been that no bullshit chick, right? You know what I mean? But I was stupid, I got played, I got my heart broken, right? And I talk about it, and it's embarrassing. But it's part of the journey.
It's happened to us all.
I had to be honest about it.
Well, I could say I appreciate the honesty.
Like, oh my God.
Because my family was taught we don't talk about things like that. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about private stuff, that they don't want the public to know. You don't even talk about it amongst each other. Like, I wouldn't have even talked to my grandparents about who I voted for, because they wouldn't want to hear it. If it's someone they don't like, they don't, oh, no. So we didn't talk about anything like that, ever. Not until my mom was having cancer did me and her even talk about a lot of things. Just go your whole life repeating patterns,
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, we, in my family, we always talk politics. My mom and dad, we're good about wanting our opinion about things and wanting us to form our own opinions about things. But when it comes to stuff like this, you don't talk about it. You just move on about it. And it's like, you can't move on. Even if you think you're moving on, you're still dragging that stuff, that baggage with you.
Yep.
I never wanted kids for a reason. I like to be free and unfettered. And carrying a bunch of garbage and trauma with you is a lot of weight. And I'm like, I need to be free of this stuff. And
right.
I'm free. I'm thankful for it. I'm so glad.
Well, we are thankful. And let's see.
I want everybody to be that. And then, like I said, it ain't easy. That don't mean it's going to be easy. But it's worth it.
and then we got a troll on Amazon. I don't even know what they're even saying on there. But anyway, it said something about where's my wife. But anyway,
I'm like, wait a minute.
If anyone has any questions for Malika as well, you can ask him here. You can ask him here in the Amazon Live. You can put it in Facebook, but I'm not going to see it. Let's see. Okay. So we have the ebook, which is what, $7.99. That sound right to you? That's what it's got on here. That's the ebook, guys. And then we have. Oh, is the hard copy on sale? Does that sound right to you?
Well, I don't know. It says it's $22.97. Yeah.
No, it says it's 65% off right now, the hard copy.
Good job. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
It looks like right now, guys, the hard copy is 65% off, making it only $7.97 right now. So this would be a great time to grab that hard copy, and then you can have it on your desk, in your bookshelf, add it to your collection. If you prefer ebooks, it does come in the Kindle version, guys. That's the first one there. They're both the same price. The hard copy book, you can actually take notes, highlight, save it, pass it on to your kids. Anything else you would like to?
Exactly.
Yes.
I've gone back to it a couple times.
Yep. Is there anything else you would like to add, Malika?
Well, like I said, I think it's going to be, here's the thing, even though this book is heavy, it's deep, it's spiritual, there's a lot of comedy in it, too. I don't think, I have a Roger Rabbit personality, I like the funny, and so I don't think I can ever write anything that doesn't have comedy in it at any point,
Right.
And so there are a lot of funny bits in this book, I think, that people are going to get a kick out of. I remember I was telling Christy, I was telling her about, whenever I went to the funeral, when I met my Aunt Linda for the first time. And I had gone to my grandfather's funeral on my dad's side. Well, I didn't go to his funeral. We went to his wake, not his funeral. And I was just and I remember as a kid looking at him, and he was pale, and he looked like himself. And then I poked his chest, and it felt like wood. And she's like, wait, you were poking his chest? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sure somebody probably grabbed me and pulled me away at that point. But yeah, I walked up and was like, wow, is that him? And I poked his chest, So there's a lot of comedy. Trisha loves me telling about the funeral scene because it was very dramatic. And the pastor, the intro to the book, to that chapter, talks about the pastor stood at the podium and he just kept saying, amen. Yeah, because everybody was showing out. Everything that, the choir kept trying to sing, the preacher kept trying to preach, but then somebody would show out and started falling out. And I remember I was sitting in the second pew, and he was like, amen. Amen. He just kept saying that Amen. And then we made eye contact and looked at me, and I'm like, amen. I don't know what to say. This funeral's out of control. He didn't know what to do. I don't know. I remember we made eye contact. Amen. So me and Trisha say that all the time when we get to service. Amen. Amen. Ain't nothing else you can say.
Does your sister go by Misty Ray on Amazon by any chance?
You said what?
Does your sister go by Misty Ray on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. She just chimed in and was asking about the price on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So no, it is not right now $22.97. Yeah, the hard copy should be. I think it's. Yeah, it's her. She said it. Yeah. Hi, Misty. It is 65% off right now, and the hard copy is $7.97. Now highlight that. You should see it popping up. I just highlighted it down there, Misty, so you should be able to see it. And even when I end this live today, people can still go back. I think it stays up for 30 days. And I'm going to once a week be putting your book in there and clips of the videos of the interview today. So we keep getting it spread out there. But it will still be up there for people to watch, and you can still shop right from the video. You'll see that me and Malika talking, and then you'll see down below the carousel with all the items. And the first two are her books, ebook and the hard copy book. Nope, you don't even need a special code, nothing like that. It should, as soon as you, I can't click on it because I'm in it as the creator, but I think if you just click on it there, it should take you directly to the link on Amazon, and it should already have the sale price and everything. Let me go in Amazon and look, but I'm pretty sure it should just come up the sale price, guys. Sister, here it comes up because I already had it searched.
I'm still working on the paperback. Yeah, I should have the paperback up.
Okay, here's the hard copy.
And Misty is a star. She's one of the stars of the book too.
Well, I see what she's saying though. It is coming up at 22 something. If you do it here, if you go to Amazon, let me see something. Malika, you could talk for a minute. I'm gonna go look at it on another phone. Because oh wait, here I can do it from here. I have to click in. Okay, let's go to this. I could do it for here. I forgot. So let me go in here and I'm gonna try to click it and see if you do it from my link if it's on sale. Let's see. Because it's saying it's on sale in Amazon Live, but when I went there it wasn't. So now I see what Misty's saying. Okay, so this was this one. No, it doesn't come up on sale there.
Because I know I had a sale going for a week for the ebook.
Yeah, but the hard copy, if you look at it, it's saying it's even cheaper on Amazon Live, but when I click on it to go buy it, it comes up the full price. So I'm not, and they're not the same price, so it's not an accident. Like it's not your ebook comes up $7.99. This one's coming up $7.97 because it's got the 60-some% off. I'm gonna put the hard copy. I'm gonna put it in my cart and see what it does. Sometimes it's at the end where they'll come up. No.
Okay. Where's the price still? The discount?
Yeah, there's no discount on the hard copy if you go to the site. I don't know why it's showing it then on here. Yeah, it is, Misty. I don't know. I just clicked on it too. It says it's on sale here in Amazon Live. I didn't put in a code or anything, no. I'm sure Malika wouldn't know the code if there was one. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. Because I even went to proceed to checkout. I'm going all the way to the end. Yeah, no, it doesn't come up.
They don't give me any of that control.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering how you got a code in there, but I don't know why it's coming up like that on the, because it's just, it's a little bit misleading for other people who aren't us. You, me, and Misty will all understand. Let's see.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, I hope it's not making people like, oh no. Yeah, that's all Amazon people for the record. That ain't.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's because the ebook was on sale. I'm not sure, but when you get there, and you would have known if you got a code.
That might be it.
I think there is a way you can put a code in, but I really don't know how.
I just put it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't need a code right now anyway. You could do that later.
Because they were like, whenever, I submitted it. No, because it was like, do you want this to be on sale for about a week or whatever when you first open it? And I was like, yeah.
I would too. I would too, Misty, because it's a hard copy.
Still have that.
Misty said she would pay $22.97 for the hard copy anyway. I said, yeah, me too, because it's a hard copy. Hard copies are about that price or more. Because it's not a paperback, it's a hard copy.
Definitely.
Yeah. But we got both of them in there, guys. Both of them in there.
On the paperback.
Huh?
Like, yeah. If you don't have $22 right now, get the ebook. But yeah, I like me and my mom were talking about that. Like, I like to hold a book. Me and Misty were saying that earlier. Like, even though an ebook may be more convenient, you can carry it around on your phone. Yep. I like a book. I like to hold a book and flip through the pages and put a bookmark in it. And like you said, make notes if I need to or highlight things.
Especially any teachers out there.
I like books.
If we have any teachers watching today. Remember you and me talked about how our social studies teacher would read books to us about Native American history?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that memory is stuck in both our heads. You know what I mean? That's not like just I remember it, you remember it. Because it meant a lot to us. She was so passionate about her reading.
Right. It really was. And again, it tells us things that weren't in our Ohio history book.
She was so good about that.
That was whitewashed, basically, in our Ohio history book. So, yeah, and I know Christy went to college. She took theology. If you're in a seminary or in theology classes and stuff like that, this will be a good book to bring to your teachers.
That's true.
I stand by everything. I know the word, so bring it, and talk about it. Ask about it. This is a great launch point for discussions, I think, in those areas, in those circles. So teachers and students that are taking those kinds of courses, this will be edifying. This will definitely be edifying. It's a different perspective, but it is a holy perspective. It's a righteous perspective. Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
I mean, I hate to say that. Like, you and Trisha and Misty are always like, you're good. I'm like, it's like whenever I cook, I like other people to say, damn, that's good. I don't like but it'll be like, ooh, I put my thumb in it.
Well, I will say, damn, it's good. I haven't finished it yet, but what I've gotten so far, and that's good for me, because if I finished it, that means I didn't pay attention. Anybody who knows me knows if I get a book read in a couple days, it wasn't thoroughly read. Yeah. I even went back to check out Hazel again. I'm like, wait, now I got to remember what Hazel in the group looks like. Now I feel like I know her.
She's always on the podcast.
Yeah, she is. She's our number one fan.
From my kid's perspective.
You gotta love her. She's our number one fan. She never misses an episode. You see the full picture, because again, I got a lot of family in this book. A lot of people make appearances. Like I told Missy, I'm like, you're a co-star basically in this book, because she's a co-star in my life basically. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I remember Misty.
I'm telling people like, little miss, my little ride or die, my split apart. But yeah, it's like I said, it was hard to write. But after I like put it away for several years, and last year when I reread it for the first time, it was like, damn, that's a good book. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds all cocky. Like, I was like, damn, that's
well, that's good though.
You go, girls. I think you're good at this.
You are good at this, yes.
So, yeah, I think people who read it for the first time are going to be like, yeah.
Well, you've been writing the blog and ghostwriting forever, right?
Oh, yeah, and freelance writing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've been doing writing for hire. Like I said, I've ghostwritten a dozen books at this point for other people. This is my first novel, but I've written books, full-length novels and stuff, manuscripts for people, and ebooks for people. For the last 11 years, I've been freelancing and writing for major national, websites and stuff like that. So, I've been doing a lot of writing in other people's voices and in other people's, areas of expertise. But usually this is the first time I've actually, put my voice out there. And even in my children's books, it's through characters, through animated characters. So this is me.
Right.
This is because my voice, and it's like I said, my neighbor Angie, she was like, "Are you excited?" She was like, "Are you nervous?" I was like, "I'm not." I was like, "I'm excited because I've been preparing for this for over a decade." I was like, but at the same time, I feel naked.
Right. I can imagine.
Like, oh gosh, this is gonna be like a lot of people are gonna learn a lot of things about me. Yeah.
But that's good.
There are people that have known me my whole life are gonna learn things about me that they did not know.
Because your step will help other people come forward and talk about things too.
There are things that I'm very private about.
And guys, if there's any questions in the future,
tell your truth.
Yeah, and if there's any questions in the future, guys, that you have for her, she'll happily come back on Amazon Live again, or we can ask her in the Facebook group and I can answer them on an episode, however you want to do it. But ask your questions. Follow the Facebook group, which is the New Progressives Podcast, so that if you have any questions there, you can ask her. She's very relatable, very reachable, all that good stuff. A really good resource out there for you guys. So you don't want to just buy the book and end it. You definitely want to get to know the author. Hence why we had her on here today.
That's right, because I'm accessible. That's right, exactly. I am free and open. I am one of those people. As much as I'm an open book, yeah, there are some private things about me, but now they're out there. So ask me. I'm okay.
And if you guys ever need help finding the Facebook page or anything like that, if you find my social media and reach out to me, there's always a link to the podcast, to her blog, to the book, all of that. So if you don't get to it on Amazon today, you want to get to it later, find my stuff, you're going to see I have everything on there, and then you can follow the podcast and get to know the author, guys. Because you're going to get to know her a little bit anyway.
That's right. You're gonna know so much about me. It's scary, but yeah. And again, and once you guys get the book, then we'll do a follow-up podcast once people start buying the book and getting the book, and that way,
and they might have more questions.
So that, people who have actually read it can come and stuff. Yeah. Because I think, there'll be a lot of people. I think we'll have some really interesting discussions from people once they start to read it and see what it's about. Because this is not a normal book. This is not a typical book. It's not religious. It's not a straight memoir. There's a lot of stuff in it for people. So I'm excited. I'm excited to finally have it out in the world.
I'm excited.
For people to read. Yeah.
And this will probably be a topic of our upcoming Facebook Lives as well, guys. So that's one place to catch her if she's not on Amazon with me. Just so you guys know. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Malika?
Yeah, we'll be doing. I think we covered everything. Like I said, there are bits and funny bits. There's drama. There's a lot of family ties and secrets. And definitely full of supernatural things that happen. They really happen. So believe it or not. Please believe it or not, these are those kinds of things that happen in my life. I can testify. These are real.
Yep.
So yeah, I just hope everybody enjoys it. I want people to, respond and reach out if you want to. Again, go newprogressives.com. Go to our Facebook page. We're on Instagram. So yeah. And buy some school supplies.
Yeah, I do got lots of. We're probably not going to go over all the school supplies today, guys. Just so you guys know, I'm probably not going to go all. But I do have them down there if you guys want to shop around. The main two things we wanted to talk about was to get to know Malika and her book.
That's right.
We'll go over school supplies later, but I do got them down, some of them down there for you guys.
I'm so grateful. Yeah. Well, I'm thankful. Thank you for doing this.
No, thank you for coming. I'm so excited.
Besides the job.
And then we can even do this again next week or the week after people's had some time to buy it, like you said. Bring you back on, answer some questions.
Right.
Because it went pretty smooth. I think we're a little choppy. But it's going. We're live. I mean, obviously, Misty can see us.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's important. I'm like, yeah, she's on there. Because I know a lot of people were texting me like, oh, thank God, is tomorrow good? I might be able to make it. So,
yeah, it's been pretty good. I'll send you the total whenever we're done. But it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been a good one.
So yeah. But if people send questions and comments, we'll do another one.
Yep. Basically. And like she said, you can go to the Facebook group and ask your questions there, guys, or bring your questions to the next Amazon Live that Malika will be in with me. And hopefully we're going to get her on Amazon one day soon, too. Yeah. All the girls from the podcast.
We'll get there. I'm hoping.
Yep. I think that's the 18th.
Exactly.
Yep.
Have fun.
And guys, I think that is going to be it. Well, we've been live an hour now, I think. Yep. So we'll have plenty of clips for when I do it next week. And then whenever you're ready again, Malika, let me know. Now that you know what to expect.
Let me know. Anytime. I'm here.
Okay. And then as soon as we end this, I'm going to be sending you the totals and everything. I'll see you guys later. Everybody have an amazing weekend.
I'll start next time beforehand.
Yeah. Make sure you get her book, guys.